Welcome viewers to our YouTube channel and Rozetta Davids. Thank you for coming and joining us on our YouTube channel, to speak about your story. Really appreciate it. I know it takes a lot of courage, and it's very difficult to kind of share your story with random people and strangers because it is personal, and so the idea is that we want to bring awareness to people about mental health and what people go through, and that those who are going through it are not going through it alone. So that is why we started this channel, um, Headspace Mental Health Movement, so that we can have people like you sharing your stories and making a difference. Okay. So, Rosetta, you are here with us today, and I don't know much about you, and I'm sure the viewers would maybe just want to also know a little bit more about you as Rosetta Davids. Who are you?
Okay. Hi, I'm Rozetta Davids, born Freeman. I'm married for 22 years, almost 22 years now.
Wow.
Um, I was born and raised in Alsis River, Avenue, Chicago, as they call it nowadays. Yes, but until my early teens, and we moved to East River. So I finished my high school career at Kleinvlei Secondary School, and few years later I got married, and I'm married for 22 years now. Currently I'm unemployed, so I call myself a home executive as I do everything that the home executives do. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so the reason why you are here with us today is because we want to chat a little bit about your journey with regards to depression. And there was some hectic, when I listened to your story on a different time, I listened to your story. I was like, wow, this lady has been through a heck of a lot, and I just thought you have such a good story to share. I would really like you to just kind of give us, what happened and what triggered that journey. Where did it all start? And yeah, I would like you to just kind of give us a brief indication. Not brief, you take your time, but we'd really like to know more about your story.
Okay, I'll try my best not to be long, because when I start I can't stop.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I think my depression started when in 2000, when the doctors, we were married for a year and a few months, when the doctor told me that I won't be able to have my own children. And because I love children so much, that was a kind of big blow for me. And the doctor who gave me the news wasn't very sincere. He just told me, you're gonna have to accept the fact that you won't be able to have children of your own, so deal with it. And that voice haunted me for years.
wow.
I remember when my husband came to fetch me at hospital, I cried so much I couldn't tell him what was going on. But I put it behind me. But I didn't go to baby showers. And every time when I hear somebody is pregnant, I felt it. And it hurts a lot. But yes, as life goes on, it goes on. In 2006, I went to another gynae. Somebody gave me the number of another gynae, so I went to that gynae. And same diagnosis, but he told me, but why don't we try IVF? I didn't want to do it, but after discussion with my husband, we decided to do it. So in 2007, I can't remember the month now, but in 2007, I had two IVFs. The first one on day 13th, the implants, the injections, it's very emotional, and it takes a lot of you. You have to give your own injections, the hormonal injections, and it's very, very expensive. On the day 13th, I started bleeding, and I was petrified. I was devastated, but okay. They told you it's not a 50, it's a 50-50, so they can't guarantee the first time. Okay, so that passed. And then again, she told me to, the doctor told me, why don't I try within the next 3 months? If I can get the money, she would advise me to try again. So I did. And on day 13 again, I started bleeding. I was devastated because I didn't hope the first time, but the second time I had so much hope that it's going to work. I didn't speak to anybody for almost 3 months. I blame the Lord because why did he allow me to go through that? Even though he knew I was gonna lose it. Oh, it's not gonna work. And I didn't speak to my husband, I didn't speak to anybody. I just went to work and I went back. And so the time went on and on and on. But at the beginning, when the doctors told me I wasn't going to have children, me and my husband decided we are not going to adopt because we want a child of our own. So we made the decision no adopting. But in 2012, I really wanted a child. Yo, it was like, I can't explain to you. I just wanted a child. And I went onto the internet. I um, get info on the adoption and what and even, but my husband didn't bite. So at first I was very angry with him, but then it took time to realize that we both made the decision, so we are going to stick with it. And what helped me, I guess what helped me much, my sister's children. They were part of my life. My daughters, all of grandchildren, but my sister's daughters. She had 4 daughters, and they are always with. People think it's my children because they were always with us. People, they were always with us. They go with us. We went out together. So I think they filled a big part of that emptiness. So yeah, if it weren't for them, I think. But in that time, I realized that I have depression. But because of the stigma, you don't want to speak up.
Yeah.
And you were told it's not depression. We grew up like that. Ag man, just get over it of. Daar is mense wat beter af is. Of jy is beter af as ander mense. The stigma. So you don't want to talk, you kept it to yourself. And many times I think I became an introvert. I just went, and I can tell you there was tears. Lot of tears for years and years and years. There was a lot of tears. But yeah, I came to accept it. And I think that was the one thing that triggered my depression. Obviously, I went through a hell of a lot of stuff in my years.
Yeah.
But that was the thing.
Okay, so on a okay, so that was your trigger point, and on with what I watched the last time, your video that you made, you indicated that it was so hard for you that you've tried to take your life twice,
Yes.
and you also landed up in a mental institution about
Yes.
3 times.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, how did that make you feel in first of all in the beginning of it, and Were you ashamed? Were you scared? Were you? I'm sure there was so much emotions. I would just like to know just a little bit more about that.
Um, Let me tell you what, in 2007, I think, no, not 2007, 2017, you remember the Zephany nurse case?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now that was the thing. I think that totally,
Wow.
because people had a lot to say about the woman who took her.
Yeah.
And my case, I felt for both sides because I know how it was not to have a child of your own. So the people were stoning that woman who took her.
Mm.
They don't know the story of that woman. So I
Uh,
felt for that woman
yeah.
and I felt for the mother. But in my case, I was more on the side of the woman.
Mm.
Yes, it wasn't okay for her to steal that woman's child, but I know what she went through. How it feel when you can't have a child of your own.
Mm.
How you long for a child of your own. How you want to hold your own child. So in 2007, that was the thing that I think that took me over the edge.
Mm.
And in
Wow.
2017, so many things happened to me. We had so many things going on in our personal life. My father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Okay.
Another thing that it was very hard. And then the one day, the 19th of March 2017. No, I'm lying. 2000 and I'm so confused with the dates now, but
Well, take your time. That's okay.
8 October 2017. Yeah? That was the year of the Zephany nurse. In
Yes.
October 31st, I went to into the first clinic. I was there for 21 days.
Wow.
I hit rock bottom in that October. I just couldn't. I couldn't. I was on antidepressants, but nothing worked. I was crying all the time. At work, I was sitting there. The one moment I was working, the next I was crying. And I went to the clinic for 21 days, and it was okay. It worked for me. I learned so much about depression. I had, and they tell you how to cope with it. They tell you how to set boundaries and whatever. So I learned quite a lot. And I went home. I was okay for one day. The next day I'm down. It was like a roller
Roller.
coaster. My emotions was like a roller coaster. And then on the 19th of March, I woke up that morning and the one thing in my mind was, I'm going to end my life today. I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what happened during the night, but my mind was made up.
Sure.
At work, that whole day, I just had that thing in mind.
Mm.
I'm going to end my life today. I talked to my colleague. She was telling me, you talk a lot of nonsense. Just stop it.
Mm.
And just before I went home, me and she had an argument, and she wasn't there because I wanted to go because I had
Yes.
something to do. So I want to go home, and she
Mm.
wasn't there. So I just walked into my car. I drive home. I took the N1 and then the R300 bridge
Mm.
onto the N2. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to stop there and jump out of the car. I
Sure.
wanted to jump off that bridge, but I didn't have the courage. So I came home and I speak to my mom. I told my mom what is going on my mind, what is in my mind, and she started praying for me and and she talked to me. But even though my mind was made up. And my brother came here, he had his work gun, and I told him, give me the gun, I want to end my life. And my mom was shocked because she prayed for me and I'm still talking like this. But we were telling her something, and so we just leave it. And then I went. We're staying at the back, yeah, about my parents. And when I got at the back, my husband was still there and he must go to work. So I waited. I threw myself a glass of cool drink. I think it was, but because of the vitamins in the cool drink, I can't remember what kind of cool drink it was, but that cool drink saved me.
Wow.
Yes, and I think it was a tropical cool drink or something, but that cool drink saved me. If you don't want to believe it, that's what the doctor told me. So I took my tablets, and when he went to work, my mind was making up. I just had my prescription renewed. So I took out all the tablets out of the packaging, all the tablets, and I was sitting there.
Mhm.
And I took the tablets, and I woke up in hospital the next afternoon. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what happened. I couldn't remember. And later, my family came to visit me, and they told me what was going on. But the first thing when I saw my husband, I asked him, "Hoe kon jy nie my hare gekam nie?" Excuse me. That was the first thing. I didn't worry about anything else because my hare nie gekam nie. But yeah, on the light side of that, and yeah, and so they told me what happened. I was ashamed. I was devastated because how can I do something like that? People put you on a pedestal. So I'm one of those people. The people think you're happy, it's always happy, you're always happy, you have the perfect life, and then but it's not like that. And and then they told me how they came across me. My husband worked night shift that evening, and apparently I didn't switch off the light after I drank the tablets. I didn't switch off the light, so that light bothered my father the whole night. But my mother told him, "Ah, man, she just forget to switch it off." And the next morning, they realized, but I didn't get up for work, and they don't have a key for my. But my mother said she immediately knew something. So they were waiting on my husband to come home. And they were so on their nerves. My father phoned my husband. He must come straight home. He mustn't go anywhere else. He must come. And my mom told me she went back into the room because she doesn't want it. And when you look through their window, you can see an outdoor. So she went to her window in her house so she can see what's going on there. And when he opened the door, she could see something was wrong. And he found me on the bed. I vomited a lot because of that cool drink.
Oh wow. Yes.
Doctor told me if it wasn't for the cold drink, I don't know what was it with the vitamins or stuff in the cold drink. That's what saved my life
Wow.
because there was a lot of vitamins in there. So I vomited a lot. So almost everything was out.
Wow.
And it wasn't easy for them it
Mm.
wasn't easy for them at what they saw that
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so in hospital, I saw a counselor, but I didn't went to the clinic after that. I came home. I was at home for a few days. I didn't want to come home because I was ashamed of myself. And I was telling myself, what would the people say? How am I going to face them? And
Mm.
the other thing was I wasn't ready to face the crime scene, as they say.
Yeah, yeah.
The crime scene. They told me what happened, so I wasn't ready. But after a few days in hospital, I was ready. I told the counselor I'm ready to go home. And I came home. I faced the crime scene. I spoke to the Lord a lot because
Mm.
I wanted to know why me?
Mm.
Why me? You know? And one day he answered me, why not you?
Mm.
Who
Yeah.
do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Why not you?
Mm.
And I got my answer. And I told my mom, I think I want to share my story with the world, even if it's only for one person.
Yeah.
I want to share it. And a few months ago, in that same year, June, I was I was like, seriously, June, July, I was again in that dark hole. So I went to a clinic again and I
Mm.
stayed there for 2 weeks, I think, and a week or so I went home. That was 2018 and that was July, and then 31st of October, I tried to commit suicide again.
Wow. Wow. That's it.
And it didn't work.
Sure.
So it didn't work. Same thing. I woke up in hospital the next morning, and from there I went to the clinic, straight to the clinic.
Wow.
And that was my last clinic visit in 2018.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
3 clinics, 2 suicide attempts, and yeah, I am sitting today talking to you.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, you are making a difference. Whether, like you said, whether it's for one person, whether it's for, 1,000 people, you are making a difference. And that is what we want. We want your voice to be heard, and many others as well. So, with all the experiences you had, do you think that you have kind of, um, dealt with the depression, or do you think that are there times that it comes back, or is it, you know, are there relapses, or or have you overcome that period of your life?
I won't say I've overcome it, but I think I can control it. I I deal with it.
Mm.
My father, in 2019, I gave up my job to help my mother look after my dad because of the Alzheimer's. And 4 months later, my dad died. And I was devastated. So, and I thought that I was going to have a relapse again. But thank God I didn't. On the 25th of 26th of June 2019, we went to the hospital. My dad was in the hospital because he got some bed sores on his feet. So he went to the hospital, and it was only the bed sores. And then on the 26th of June, when we went to visit him in hospital, when we got there, we saw that my dad wasn't looking right. And so my sister went to the nurses and asked what's going on. And the nurse told us, but you have to speak to the family because there's something wrong. And they told us my dad have only 10% heart function left. And
Sure.
if he survived that evening of the 26th of June, it's going to be a miracle.
Wow.
And the Lord gave us 3 weeks with my father.
Wow.
1 week in hospital, 2 at home. And it was so intense because he couldn't do anything for himself. We had to do everything. And on the 19th of July 2019, that Friday morning, my dad passed away. Me, my mom, and my sister was in the room when he
Wow.
um, left us, and I thought that, oh, yeah, is mine. I am not going to be able to deal with this. But thank the Lord, I've dealt with it. He's gone a year. Yes, I'm missing him like crazy,
Mm,
but I'm dealing with it. Baby steps, one step at a time, one day at a time. That's
that is
all I
so.
can do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that is amazing. Simply amazing that because not many people can, overcome. Not overcome it. I don't think you can just fully overcome it, but it takes a lot sometimes for
Yes.
people just to kind of move through it and be strong. And it's really a tough process. Um, Tell me something. Were you ever on medication through this period? And did it help at any point? Do you feel like it didn't help? I mean, I just would like to know a little bit more about that.
Yes, I was on medication. I was on antidepressants and I was on sleeping tablets. And the medication, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it's working. I think it differs from person to person.
Mm,
Some
yeah.
people say it makes you numb, you're not yourself or whatever. I didn't know. I didn't feel that
Mm,
because I feel I was myself. I had so much emotion while using that tablets.
mm,
So to me, it didn't make any difference. But I used those tablets. And in 2018, the Lord made it possible for me to go to our church conference
mm,
after the second suicide attempt. So I went to the conference and it was so amazing. And there I told the Lord that I put myself in His hands.
mm,
I'm not going to use that tablets anymore because He's responsible for me and He
mm.
must heal me.
Yeah.
And since 2018, I haven't drink any of that medication.
Mm.
I still
That,
have the
that,
last I still have the last month's prescription with me,
wow.
but I'm using it.
That is super amazing. Yeah. That is hectic, eh? But I mean,
Yes,
and then also with that, obviously the doctors prescribe those medication for you.
yes, yes.
Um, do you think that it's in our society today that it's good to have psychologists and psychiatrists? Did it help you at any? Did that help you?
Yes,
Speaking to them.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because we as persons don't speak to
Yeah.
anybody or everybody. So you keep everything inside. So when you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, you are kind of like forced to talk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in the clinic, we had our sessions. You see the psychologists and psychiatrists every single day.
Okay.
So you have to speak. So you speak. So I think it was a good thing for me because I talked about a lot of things while I had my sessions. So it worked for me. And
Okay.
I would tell people to go and see. If they
Mm.
can, go and see them.
Okay. Okay. Because I mean, I know it can be an expensive story for a lot
It's
of
very
people
expensive.
because a lot of people don't have medical aid, but I've also
Mm,
seen that the government clinics they do have very good help, and I'm always trying to encourage people to go there
mm,
because they have most clinics have a mental health department,
Yeah,
and so yeah, tell me something, and this is a question I like to ask many people, because I've seen how stigmatization has kind of affected our society, and nothing changes because of that. The stigmatization. Um, and something I asked previously was, how did did you ever feel like you were being bullied in a way, or made fun of, or said, you go to church and so forth. A lot of people believe that mental health is a demonic entity. Were you
yeah.
ever in that space where that happened to you, where people actually said those things to you?
No, no,
Okay.
I wouldn't. But you get a lot of people would tell you when you're like down or whatever, they would tell you, ah, just get over it, man.
Uh,
You know, just get over it, ah, move on. And that hurts a lot because
uh,
they are not in your shoes. They don't know
yeah.
what you're going through. So my advice to people is rather be a listener than give people advice if you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm,
Because when they give you advice like that, then you decide not to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Then you just decide, no, I'm not going to talk.
yeah.
Because they give advice, but they don't know what's going on or what you're going through. And that's what I experienced.
Wow. Okay.
And
So, but you had a good family, or support system within your family. If I'm not,
yes,
yeah, your
yeah,
husband, your mom, and your sister,
yes,
and so forth.
yes, yes, but they don't always understand.
Yeah. Man.
They don't always understand, and they were also some of the ones that told you, "Ach man,
uh,
kyk verby, move on."
yeah, yeah,
So my sister's one of them. Ach man, she would say, "En ek weet nie hoekom voel jy so nie. Jy het
uh,
'n lekker lewe and stuff like
yeah,
that." But it's not. That's not what's it about.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
a
think
lot of things.
a lot of things, and I think that is why I think psychologists and psychiatrists are good, to kind of get that off you, because not people won't understand. Your family, your friends, unless they know what it's like, as
Exactly.
they won't know. And I've spoken to many people, and a lot of them would say, "No, my family says I'm looking for attention. You know, I
Yes,
that,
yes.
or I'm talking nonsense again, or." And so you feel like nobody's really listening. So why am I here? And I think many feels like many people who struggle with their mental health, they feel like that. There's nobody really
Ab-
listening. And
Absolutely.
I think for the viewers, they should be encouraged to actually start really, when you ask someone, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's someone who is struggling with it or someone that's not struggling with it, to just say, ask them, how are you, and mean it, and not just say this, how are you, and kind of just, oh, fine, bye. It needs
Yeah,
to,
yes.
it really needs to
Because
be a real authentic, or an authentic, how are you? You know,
because most of the time you just answer, "I'm okay."
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what does I say? Because you're not really
Yeah,
asking because you want to
I'm
know.
okay. You rather say I'm okay because when you explain to them, they won't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
I get,
mean?
I get you. But Rosita, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. I really, really do appreciate it. I've learned so much about you and your journey, and believe that this will definitely make a difference in someone else's life. And so I just want to thank you so much again for being brave, for being the woman you are. And I believe that your testimony will definitely go far and beyond, than what you expect. So yeah, thank you once again, and we will chat again soon in the future. Hopefully you can come back on and we can chat again some more. But thank you and must have a blessed day. Okay.
Thank you for letting me tell my story.
Okay.
I do appreciate it.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, bye.